In this video, we're going to go over how to read meta ad stats for testing when you're dropshipping. Me and my brother are running a store that has done just under $2.5 million in revenue currently, and we've ran multiple pump and dump stores that have also done 6 figures. And if you're someone like us that has done decent revenue in dropshipping, you understand that knowing how to read your meta ad stats is pretty much a bare minimum thing to know when you're doing dropshipping. We've had multiple students hit 6 figures in revenue and make a good amount of money with monthly recurring revenue. But my brother and I and our students could never get to a point of where they are at in terms of revenue and MRR if they didn't know how to read the meta ad stats. Learning these stats, you're going to be able to understand when to cut a product, when to cut ads, when to scale your store, and just overall knowing what the best decision is next to make in terms of your ads in order to profitably scale. Before we get into the stats, make sure you guys check out Commercive. If you guys are getting consistent sales, it's probably the best US 3PL right now for dropshipping. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from our community members on our Discord regarding Commercive. So make sure you check it out, see if they can provide you better cost of goods. Guys, if you're spending a shit ton of money on dropshipping tools, check out Luxury Extras. They're a huge tool hub that has a bunch of dropshipping tools, pretty much everything you're going to need for dropshipping. So check it out in my link below in my description. But yeah, let's get into the ad stats. So CPC, which is cost per click, make sure you're first looking at the unique link click one. If you're looking at the one that says all, that one's going to be for every single click, whether they click like, comment, or just like the read more dots. The unique link click one, it's pretty much the stat that's regarding someone actually clicking your link. So we're looking for around $1 USD. If it's a little higher, maybe almost at $2, that's also okay. But as your winning ads spend more, this number will often go down, which is called optimization. And if it's a little higher than, let's say 2, maybe it reaches $2-3 CPMs, that's okay, but that kind of depends on your CPM. If your CPM is higher, if it costs more money for people to actually be shown your ad, chances are it's also going to cost more money for people to actually click through your ad, right? So that'll completely depend on the CPM. To be honest, CPC, it's a good metric to look at, but it's nothing really detrimental in terms of needing to cut or continue running an ad, because you can still have ads that are profitable with a high ROAS despite having, let's say, an expensive CPC of $4 or $3. So CTR, this is the percentage of people that actually clicks through your ads. Once again, you want to look at the unique link click version of it. This is a really important statistic in my opinion. Although you can still have profitable ads and high ROAS despite having the CTR percentage to be lower, it's a good metric to just look when you're trying to understand how well an ad is responding to the people it's been shown to. So in my opinion, I think 5% is all right, and most winners tend to be over 6% and above, but you can still get winning ads with the 4 to 5% CTR percentage. 5% can still be really good if your CPMs are low, as low CPMs mean lots of people were shown the ad. So yeah, once again, you can still be really profitable with a low CTR percentage simply if your ad is being shown to a lot of people. Your CPM, it's also kind of good to look at to assess your TAM, which is basically how many people that you can pretty much advertise to and how many people will actually be interested in your product, or essentially how many people that kind of fit your customer avatar criteria. So your CPM is literally just how much it costs for your ad to be shown on someone's screen. It's cost per milli, which is basically how much it costs per 1,000 impressions to be shown. So if you have $100 CPM, that would mean it spent $100 in order to acquire 1,000 people. So for CPMs, the lower the better. Around $75 USD and under is ideal. As winning ads spend more, this will often go down. This is once again optimization. If your CPM is a little higher and it's not ideal, let's say it's almost at 200 or around 200, this can still be good, but this depends on the CPC and CTR. This is because $200 CPMs, that may seem high, but that could just be the TAM that you have for your product. Facebook can still hit the right group. However, that group tends to not have as many people, hence the reason why you may have higher CPMs. In order to understand whether this is actually okay, is if you look at your ad and if they have high CTR percentage, let's say it has 8% and it has a pretty low CPC despite having high CPMs, then you would know that, hey, despite this ad not being shown to too many people, or that it costs a lot, in this case $200 or around $200 to show it to people, it is still getting people to click through. So at the end of the day, it's being shown to the right people, but the amount of people there isn't as much as the average product. But at the end of the day, it's okay because the CPC and CTR show that people are still clicking through the link once they are shown the ad. Next important stat that we look at is ROAS. This is obviously the most important stat that we look at, as written here. This is the main thing that we look at. Your ROAS stands for return on ad spend, and this is how much money you earned based on the amount of money you spent on ads. So for example here, if you spend $100 USD and you have a 2.0 ROAS, that would mean you returned $200 USD in revenue based off the $100 ad spend. We like to recommend that you actually try to have a break-even ROAS under 1.45. Obviously, the lower the better. A break-even ROAS is literally what ROAS you need to have when you spend ads in order to break even on profit. And this number is completely based on your COGs, which is cost of goods. So an example here, if I sell X for $50 and COGS was $15, so it cost me $15 to sell it with the shipping, my profit margin is $35, which is 70%. So if I do 1 divide 0.7, I get 1.43, which is my break-even ROAS. This means I need to get anything higher than a 1.43 ROAS in order to be in the green in terms of profit. Anything under 1.43 means I'm going to be negative in terms of profit. We usually tend to scale 20% at around 1.8 ROAS and above based on having a 1.45 ROAS and under. The next stat that we have is add to carts, ATC. We make sure to check this metric on Shopify because Meta actually provides the incorrect amount of add to carts. It will overshoot the amount of add to carts that are shown on your Meta ads. This is why for this, I highly recommend looking at your Shopify. It isn't as of an important stat, but we look at it to kind of understand the buying intent because obviously people may still want the product, but might not proceed through buying, right? But we can still check if an advertisement can provide lots of buying intent by looking at the advertisement's add to cart amount and seeing if that ad is properly being shown to the right people and convincing them to actually get to the point of adding to their cart. So I have written here, it's just good to look at the buying intent. It can show whether if a sale was more on the lucky side or not. And what I mean by this is if you have a sale at, let's say, $20 spend on an ad, you might think it's luck. However, if it also has 4 add to carts, then chances are it's not luck and it's actually being shown to the right people in which it got a sale from. Next, we got frequency. Frequency is pretty much just how many times on average a person has seen your ad. So 2.0 frequency would mean the average person that your ad's been shown to has seen your ad twice. This is a pretty high frequency, and your frequency will tend to be higher, which means more people will see your ad often when your ad is lower in the funnel. When you're posting bottom of funnel ads, let's say bottom of funnel statics, let's say a Black Friday deal, chances are your frequency is going to be close to 2 or higher than 2. If you're doing long form natives and your frequency ends up being 2 or higher or close to 2, then that would mean something's kind of wrong with the ad. For some reason, it's showing to the same people almost twice. Cost per result, also known as your CPA or CAC. This is how much on average it costs you for your ad to actually get a sale. Obviously, the lower the better on this number. We don't really look at this too much in terms of testing, but in the terms of if you're scaling a product, this is definitely something that you want to look at in order to kind of understand what type of desire or concept is actually allowing conversions to be created at a very cheap cost. Obviously, you're going to assess the other things like your ROAS and how it's performing for your customer avatar, but this is a pretty basic way to see how well an ad is doing in terms of converting. Now, kind of understanding these stats, it will show you when you should cut an ad and when do you actually continue the product. So when do you cut an ad? So when an ad actually has spent a decent amount but has no buying intent, that's when we would cut. So for example here, if an ad has around $60 spent but only has 1 add to cart, 1 add to cart is pretty much little to no buying intent. Therefore, we would cut, as you can see here, 50 to 60 plus spent on an ad or an ad concept, because I know some people have just 1 ad concept in an ad with multiple variations. If this amount spends on it in the testing phase and there's just 0 buying intent, for example, 1 add to cart or just no add to carts at all, ideally I would cut the ad. When do I cut / continue the product? So when you test validated desires yet receive 0 buying intent, in return, you cut. So pretty much like I said here, if you've spent $100 to $200 on your ads and absolutely nothing has happened, you've gotten only 1 add to cart on an ad set and that's absolutely it. First day or even second day, halfway in, if I'm spending $100 to $200 and I only see little to no buying intent, I'm personally cutting the product. Often day 1, I don't like to cut the product. However, if I spend the entire budget and I see absolutely no buying intent, then I'll just like to cut the product and move on. Sometimes if I really believe in the product, then I'll leave it for another day, maybe halfway through the day. And if there's no buying intent, once again, I will just cut the product and move on. So yeah, when you're testing it and you have tested the validated desires yet received no buying intent, you just move on. And then once again, like I said here, the only time we cut a product on the first day is if there's no buying intent at all, even after Meta has spent all of the budget. But yeah, ideally on the first day, you should get at least a sale or a couple reach checkout, or maybe even one reach checkout. In terms of cutting the product on the second day, we do that if there are no sales at all since the first day. So let's say first day you've had 1 or 2 reach checkout, which is buying intent. This is enough for me to consider testing up until the second day. We can then cut that product on the second day if there tends to be no sales at all, even after the first day. Because the first day, what I would like to think in this situation is that it has gained data to the point where it should have a better second day in terms of actually getting some sales. However, if that doesn't seem to be the case and there are no sales on the second day, then I'm cutting the product. So yeah, at this point, Meta has done some initial spending to actually send the ads that Meta favors in terms of engagement. It has learned a little bit. So if there are no sales, we often cut the product. Ideally, on the second day, you should have a sale or a couple sales by now, and it should start optimizing the stats. Your CPM should get a little lower, your CPC should get a lower as well. Obviously, those stats don't matter too much if you're continuing to get a lot of sales. In a situation where we cut a product on the third day is if we have only received 1 sale so far throughout the test, and then the third day we receive nothing or even just 1 sale. So ideally on the third day, you should have a couple sales by now, around 3 to 4. And you should be looking to actually make more ads of the winning desire, which is the ad that's getting the most sales and spend. You should be looking to take the desire in that ad and finding more engaging ways to present it, because that is the desire that is working best for the people that your ads are showing to. However, if you're on the third day and you've probably spent about $300 by now, $250 by now, and you have only gotten 1, maybe even only 2 sales, at that point I'm cutting unless the third day seems to do like really well. Let's say break even to profitability. So after the third day, if you're able to get consistent sales and hit a break-even point, you should be testing different angles and ways to present the winning desire. So let's say it has gone pretty bad up until the third day. You only had 1 or 2 sales. However, the third day, you were able to be a little bit more consistent and you're able to break even. Maybe not even break profit, but break even. At that point, I would consider testing different angles to present the winning desire, like I said previously. And then if that doesn't seem to get traction the next day or 2, then I would cut the ad. So if you continue to test throughout the day and are unable to get profitability, despite testing more ads and maybe even a landing page that are related to your winning desire, you can cut the product. Basically what I'm trying to say here is throughout the test, if you have seen some signs of life with sales and you've been testing different ad concepts, which are variations of the winning desire. You've been testing advertorials, maybe a listicle. If you've been testing these concepts, which seem to work in terms of getting sales, like if you're testing concepts based on the concept that seems to be getting sales, yet nothing is happening still, at that point, I'm going to be cutting the product. But yeah, guys, those are the important stats that we like to look at when it comes to testing and running products for dropshipping. This video is actually a module that's going to be on Justin and I's school course that's launching on July 10th. We've been getting a ton of people recently asking about mentorships. However, we can't get to everyone. We can't provide everyone the actual methods because of the fact that we wouldn't be able to deal with that many people doing a direct 2-on-1 mentorship. On top of that, we've had a lot of people ask us to start up a school. So we've been working on one for a couple months. We've been putting in a lot of attention to detail and just essentially showing you guys everything that has to do with what we know in terms of what we believe is the best modern way to take on dropshipping in 2026. This is an actual course that shows you everything to do with modern day dropshipping. We have everything from our own private product research method that we've been only showing students, not just calo ripping. We don't do anything with calo. We actually use ads library and show you guys how to use it properly in order to assess real validation in the dropshipping market. We show you guys how to make video ads, long form native ads, how to set up the website, how to use Claude AI to make really good looking advertorials and websites, AI UGC generation. We got all of the prompts over here, as you can see. We literally have a prompt for everything, and these aren't just half-assed prompts to make half-assed stores, ads, and creatives. These are properly made, and these are things that we genuinely use on a day-to-day basis when it comes to testing and scaling products. But yeah, Justin and I are actually super proud of it. We spent a lot of time making this so that we can actually provide you guys everything when it comes to what we do in terms of doing dropshipping. But yeah, this is coming out on July 10th. It's not going to be some $1,000 course. Join the Discord to get more information regarding that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. Check out my Instagram and make sure you join our Discord community in my description below. I genuinely think we have one of the best Discord communities when it comes to dropshipping right now. If you guys have any questions about Meta ad stats, drop a comment below. I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. Peace.